Just going to show you the day first. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And we've opened all the shutters, letting all this light in and really noticing the light levels are improving now. And it's only early February, but it's really nice to have this sort of light. I can feel the difference in the light levels, or see the difference in the light levels compared to late December and January. So Joe's been here for a few days, and let's see if I can get the sun out of my eyes. Better. And we went on Friday. We went to see Avatar. It started at 20:30. It's a very long film. It's over 3 hours, and it took me quite a while to get tuned into it. It's dialogue, and I think it's confusing to begin with, that you've got because it was in English, and you've got French subtitles coming up, and I find that distracting at first. I can't quite coordinate, but then I find after about 20 minutes I'm able to coordinate, and actually it's really good for your French because you're listening to the English dialogue and seeing a translation in subtitles, and when your brain starts working, you can it just helps my French. And I say that and I think, oh right, oh okay, I'll remember that. I don't remember anything that I thought I'd remember, of course. Quelle surprise. So that was good. We got back at midnight from that, and then of course for me, I need time to unwind a bit. I can't just think, oh god, I need to go straight to bed. So I didn't get to bed till after 1, and didn't sleep very well, and but I think I caught up last night, so that's okay. And we went out yesterday and had a meal at Le Gaston, and I had a piece of steak, a boeuf, marinated beef with 6 chips. They were thick cut chips, and they're on the plate like a Jenga game, so they're stacked, and they weren't completely cooked through. It didn't matter, but yeah. And I had some salad, I suppose, on the plate. I can't remember. Oh, that was it. It was with a chimichurri sauce, which I've never had before, and it tasted like it had got some sugar in it. To me, it certainly was a sweet. It was lovely, but I could taste. And when I asked the waiter what was in it, and he said, he didn't mention sugar, but I'm thinking there's sugar in that. Yeah, so that was that. And then we've had a really weird meal for lunch. It was partly one that Joe recommended, was a chicken, it's sort of a keto meal, which is chicken wrapped in bacon with a cheesy creamy sauce. And I thought, I could do that. I've got some chicken and I got some bacon. So I made it. So we had that, and we had it with lentils and some spinach. So it was a bit fusion, really, because I had to dish it up on the plate to try and stop the cream and the spinach bleeding together. But it was tasty, apart from the spinach. But we need spinach. It's really good for us, and we're not getting much spinach, and we haven't been getting much spinach. And it's really important to be having very dark greens in our diet. So I thought I'd add it in today, as I'd got some in the freezer that I thought I should use that. So we had that. Joe's gone home, and I've been there was a comment from, well, before that, I'll just talk about briefly. I'm reading Jodie Picoult, called Sing You Home, which is, I'm 80% through now, and it's in the courtroom. I do like courtroom dramas, and this is a fight between 2 couples, or a couple who've divorced, and the wife is now in a lesbian relationship, and the husband is living with his brother and sister-in-law, and they're fighting over embryos that were created in the marriage before they divorced. The wife wants her embryos for her now wife, and the husband wants the embryos for his sister and brother-in-law. So there's a courtroom fight going on which is very intense, very interesting, and highly um, the lawyer for the husband who wants the embryos for his brother and wife. It's a massive religion thing and pro life thing going on, so it's quite interesting for me, who's pro choice. So I'm reading that, really enjoying that. I do hope Jodie Picoult has written something else that I can read that I've not already read that will keep me as entertained, because it's doing really well. Barbara commented on my last vlog, the one where I'm wearing my blue fleece, where I said that I wouldn't be dumbed down, blah, blah, blah. And she commented, and I was outraged when I read her comment. She was out, she'd gone to Weymouth for a short break with her husband, and she's disabled, and she's on a mobility scooter. And I think from what she said, she's probably obese as I am, because she's disabled and on a mobility scooter, and, you know, lack of being able to move around very well. And they'd gone to the seafront, and they were rolling along the promenade, and some guy turned up, stopped his car, and started hurling abuse out the window. You shouldn't be here if you can't walk. You shouldn't be cluttering up our beaches with your mobility scooter. And I mean, I don't know what else. I mean, you need to read the comment, but it was like, fucking hell. What? How arrogant are people that they think that someone that's disabled shouldn't be allowed some pleasure? It just astonishes me. Absolutely astonishes me that there are morons in the world who have absolutely no compassion, absolutely no empathy. And I know from my own previous life that there are people that were brought up in, you know, but raised by parents who had no empathy, compassion. So I know that that was probably his experience, you know, no empathy, no compassion, and then grows to be lacking in empathy and lacking in compassion. I know that, absolutely know that, but it never fails to shock me when somebody is so fucking arrogant and mean and cruel to someone who's already dealing with cruel stuff. You know, when you're not able to move around because of pain, when you're disabled, or when you're, you know, all of that, you're already dealing with mean and cruel stuff. Having people heap more mean and cruel on you is just so, well, it's just not just, is it? It's just not just not just. So I was outraged when I read that, and I thought it's so typical of many people that one comes across, that many of the people that read the Daily Mail and such like, or watch Fox News, I suppose is the equivalent in the US. I don't know what other equivalents there are, but it's very common for them to point and project their anger onto the vulnerable people, when really their anger should be pointed and projected onto the politicians that are stealing all the money. There's people that point and get angry at people they believe are taking benefits and they shouldn't be, when it's politicians that are causing the terrible, terrible economic crisis in the UK. It's not benefit, but it's not even people that are on benefits illegitimately. It's the politicians that are stealing all your money. There's a cartoon I've seen. There's a cartoon of Rupert Murdoch sitting, and he's got someone on one side, and he's got somebody that looks like a sort of a Muslim or a terrorist or something on the other side. And there's a plate of cookies or biscuits, as we call them in the UK. What do they call them in France? Petit gâteau. And there's this plate of cookies in the middle of the table, and Murdoch, oh God, the cunt word. Oh, it did come out. Sorry. Murdoch sits there saying that terrorist is stealing your cookies, at the same time as he is stealing the cookies. And that's what you're up against, is someone like Murdoch and Fox News and all of those other weirdo sites that give you, just feed you trash and feed the right wing with anger at the wrong people. So I felt really sorry about Barbara not just enjoying her holiday like everybody else does. We all can go on holiday, whatever our state of being. We're all entitled to have a holiday. We're all entitled to travel. Whatever your state of being, and if somebody is too unwell to do that, then you need to feel sorry for them, not castigate them because they're in their on their mobility scooter on your promenade. Fuck you. So yeah, I was not happy about that, as you can tell. What else? I think that's it really. I'm going to go back in. I'm playing a game. I'm playing a game that I've been playing for a year on my own, or I've joined a team, but actually the team's been pretty dormant and not very active. And I started digging around and thought, I'll see if I can work out how I can perhaps improve my chances in the game, because you're collecting resources or growing or harvesting or making resources in your factory. And so I joined a team that is active, very active, but they're also very chatty, and I don't really cope well with chatty, especially as my tablet's got a divided keyboard on it now. I don't know why. So I have to go either side of this gap for the letters. So that's irritating if I'm trying to answer questions or whatever. I'm finding the chatting a bit overwhelming, and I know that I'll cope with that once. I mean, I've had Joe here, so that's been a bit distracting. I know that I'll cope with that and I'll deal with it my way. But it's amazing how quickly I'm moving in through the game now with the help of other people. And as they say so often, teamwork makes dream work. And I'm thinking, okay, yes, it does. But it also has some downsides for me. Yeah, that's all. So I'm sorry that you experienced that, Barbara. You saw my comment. I'm really sorry that happened to you. I think it's awful. And I know a lot of the subscribers on here would be horrified too. So that's it. And what is it? I don't know. It's Sunday. It's probably about 2:00. So you might get this later. Have a good Monday in New Zealand and Australia. And wake up, Canada and America.